evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Wednesday, April 6, 2022. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Major international firms interested as Guyana prepares to sell its carbon credits globally. GECOM to re-advertise for DCEO, ACEO positions. Opposition cannot benefit from its own wrongdoing, NANDLALL says on challenge to NRF law. Exciting adventure awaits as Pakaraima Mountain Safari returns this weekend. And Guyana to host 38th FAO Regional Conference in 2024. Now for the news in detail. Many international firms have already expressed an interest as Guyana prepares to sell its carbon credits on the world market. This announcement was made today by Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat, who is traveling around the country consulting with stakeholders on the expanded Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS 2030. Andrew Carmichael has our lead story tonight.
Guyana must continue to have a low rate of deforestation, while at the same time, the country must be able to take advantage of its natural resources. How will this be done? This is what the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2020 is all about. National consultations are being held in this regard, where persons have an opportunity to make suggestions and also offer objections. One of those consultations was held today in Region 6 at the Regional Democratic Council's boardroom.
Carbon emissions that is coming from all countries globally, worldwide.
With 18.4 million hectares of largely pristine forest storing 5.31 gigatons of carbon, officials estimate that Guyana can earn upwards of $300 million by selling its carbon credits on the global market. These and other matters were discussed on Wednesday during a national consultation of the expanded Low Carbon Development Strategy in Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine. What Guyana is seeking through the new Low Carbon Development Strategy is a continuous flow of carbon finances. Between 2015 and 2019, Guyana earned $250 million from Norway in its low deforestation rates under the original LCDS. In an interview with Evening News following the event, Natural Resource Minister Vikram Bharat spoke of the values of the country's carbon credits.
There are many organizations and companies around the world that would express an interest in purchasing carbon credits. Because what is happening now, especially in the corporate world, is that companies are being forced in certain developed countries to budget for carbon sequestration or purchasing carbon credit, carbon offsets in other words, as part of their program. I know for sure some of the major companies are looking to start that process where they themselves will be involved in renewable energy, or they would offset carbon emission in the form of monetary contribution to countries that have that accredited carbon credit that is on the market.
Guyana has already received positive response from Lowering Emissions and Accelerating Forest Finances, LEAF, coalition on its proposal to retail its carbon credits in the world. Guyana has also signed a letter of intent with Emerton, a US-based non-profit organization, to market Guyana's carbon credits, which will be sold to private international companies.
The process is what is happening now, the consultations. We have to conclude countrywide consultation on LCDS 2030. After that, the final LCDS 2030 document will be finalized, and only then we will go on the market for carbon credits, for the sale of carbon credits.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
The Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, has taken a decision to re-advertise the positions of Deputy Chief Election Officer and Assistant Chief Election Officer as it pushes to fill important positions left vacant since last year. Here are the details.
In an interview with this newscast, GECOM Commissioner Bibi Shadiq informed what transpired at Tuesday's statutory meeting. She explained that a decision was taken to advertise the two positions, although she could not say exactly when this will be done.
We have re-advertised for Chief Accountant and the advertisement will go out for DCEO and ACEO.
Since last year, GECOM has been searching for a new CEO, DCEO, Chief Accountant, Legal Officer, and Voter Education Manager. The CEO position has since been occupied by former DCEO Vishnu Prasad, who was sworn in on December 14, 2021. Prasad was one of two persons who were shortlisted after applying for the job when the vacancy was advertised in October 2021. The legal officer position has also been filled. Meanwhile, during a recent press conference, PNC leader Aubrey Norton had made claims that GECOM was registering Venezuelan migrants not entitled to vote. While this matter did not come up at the meeting, Shadiq did address it during the interview. She debunked such claims as untrue and explained that there are Venezuelans of Guyanese lineage who, once they satisfy the requirements, can be registered.
People were born because the law says a Guyanese, a person of Guyanese citizenship, who even went to live in Venezuela for the past 20 years, doesn't lose the Guyana citizenship. And if they got 5 children, and those children got grandchildren, all those children are entitled to be registered as Guyanese, and then their children would also be entitled.
Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
In response to legal proceedings filed by the APNU AFC coalition challenging the passage of the Natural Resources Fund law, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister, Senior Counsel NANDLALL, is contending that the opposition cannot benefit from its own wrongdoing. Vanu Manichand reports.
The legal documents filed highlight, among other things, the absence of the original Parliament mace during the passage of the NRF bill in December last. The bill was passed after a series of chaotic events that erupted in the National Assembly on December 29th, when it was brought up for debate. The opposition's disruptions had escalated into a confrontation between some of their MPs and Parliament staff after the mace was stolen from in front of the Speaker. But according to Attorney General NANDLALL, the opposition cannot now challenge the passage of the bill when they had caused the damage.
They removed the mace and attempted to run away with it. In the process, they were stopped and the mace was broken. All of this is recorded. And they left the sitting. And then, when the bill was passed in their absence, they now turn around. Christopher Jones, in his capacity as a member of Parliament, and Norris Witter, as one of the persons signing this petition, claim that the bill was passed illegally because the mace was not in place. A substitute mace was used, authorized by the Speaker, because they broke the rail mace, and that mace was authorized by the Speaker and the clerk and respected by the assembly that was present as the mace for that proceeding or the remainder of the proceeding. And the obstructionists, the persons who behaved like hooligans, broke the mace so that the Parliament couldn't have the mace to continue its proceedings, now bring legal proceedings to say that the proceedings are illegal because he didn't have a mace.
NANDLALL argued that instead of participating and debating the bill, the opposition disrupted the proceedings and now wants to benefit from its own wrongdoing.
You have a principle in law, no matter which legal system you may be operating under, that a person must not benefit from his or her wrong. I repeat, there's a principle of law of almost universal application, that you cannot benefit from your own wrong. Courts of Guyana are now being asked to declare a law illegal because of one side of the National Assembly running away with the mace and breaking the mace.
Another one of the grounds of the opposition raised in its legal challenge is that the government did not consult on the crafting of the NRF legislation, but the Attorney General reminded that the coalition did not consult when it had passed its own NRF laws in January 2019, just mere days after the PNU-AFC regime had fallen to a no-confidence motion. NANDLALL further outlined that there is no legal or constitutional obligation that requires the government to consult in the passage of new laws.
That consultation is an important component of good governance. It's a prerequisite in a democracy. They are good values. But you are dealing with here with law. There is no legal obligation on a government to consult. As I said, they passed this very bill. They passed a natural fund law. Which grouping did they consult? And I'm not saying that we did not consult. We consulted on this bill. Perhaps we didn't consult that group.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
President of the Guyana Bar Association, Pauline Chase, on Tuesday called for a changing of the formula that requires consensus between the president and the opposition leader in the appointment of a Chief Justice and Chancellor. Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister NANDLALL has since expressed his agreement that the current formula has not worked in the more than 2 decades it was put in place. Here is Vanu Manikchand again with this story.
Article 127(1) of the Constitution of Guyana states, quote, "The Chancellor and the Chief Justice shall each be appointed by the President, acting after obtaining the agreement of the Leader of the Opposition," end quote. But during his weekly program, Issues in the News, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister NANDLALL contended that this process simply does not work.
That since its addition to the Constitution in 2001, we have a president has never been able to secure the agreement of the leader of the opposition in either of those appointments. As a result, since 2001, we have had no Chief Justice appointed.
According to NANDLALL, only 2 countries in the Commonwealth, including Guyana, have such a formula in place, and it has not worked in either nation.
That recommendation for there to be agreement, I have no doubt was born out of the best of intentions, but it simply has not worked. And perhaps that is why we are, as I said, one of 2 countries in the world where that formula exists. And as I've said, based upon my recollection, it has not worked in the other country either.
The Attorney General went on to recall that efforts under the past 3 governments have failed to confirm the appointments of a Chief Justice and Chancellor. Currently, Justice Roxanne George has been acting Chief Justice since 2017, while Justice Yonit Cummins Edwards has also been acting Chancellor since 2017. As such, NANDLALL pointed out that with Guyana about to embark on a constitutional reform exercise, he hopes that stakeholders can learn from these lessons.
All I am saying, I'm stating the facts. The formula has not worked. It makes no sense putting into law, and worse yet, putting into a constitution a mechanism that is going to cause deadlock. And here you have had deadlock now for 22 years, 2 decades. I don't think we need more lessons. We have 22 years of experience. So when we start the constitutional reform process, I hope we would be guided by these real examples and don't make fanciful recommendations, idealistic and unreal recommendations.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
11 new cases of the novel coronavirus have been recorded, taking the total positives detected to date to 63,294. There are 5 persons receiving care in the ICU, 9 hospitalized, 68 in institutional isolation, and 15 in institutional quarantine. Recovery stand at 61,976, while the death toll remains at 1,226. Coming up, Omi accelerating exploration at We Not with second drill, and Guyana and Suriname to play key role in crafting CARICOM energy policy, says President Ali. Do stay with us, more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanups, or construction sites. It's simple. Step 1, just pick up the phone and give us a call. Step 2, we deliver the skip bin size of your choice. Step 3, load the skip with all of your junk. And finally, Step 4, we take it all away. It's that simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there's no job that's too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455 or 218.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store, located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rijnveld.
Your child needs nutrients every day. Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder.
This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Mental development depends on various factors such as stimulation and adequate nutrition. Commercial cow's milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.
Your child needs nutrients every day. Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder.
This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Mental development depends on various factors such as stimulation and adequate nutrition. Commercial cow's milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. After being on hiatus for 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the 19th annual Pakaraima Mountain Safari is expected to kick off on April 10, providing scores of outdoor enthusiasts with the perfect opportunity to explore the magnificent beauty of Guyana's mountainous regions. Luan McAllister has this story.
This highly favored expedition is organized by the Pakaraima Safari Club and Rainforest Tours in collaboration with the Guyana Tourism Authority and the administrations of Regions 8 and 9. The event will run for 7 days beginning April 10th, and 4 indigenous villages throughout Regions 8, 9, and 10 will be visited. The journey will commence at the East Bank main terminal at Guyana gas station and will take nature lovers to tourist hotspots like Anamai, Young Peru, Cato, and Oranduke. During a simple launching ceremony, the proprietor of Rainforest Tours, Frank Singh, expressed satisfaction with the return of the safari, noting that COVID protocols will be in effect.
We still have to wear our face masks and sanitize our hands as often as possible. As the safari has been termed as, our slogan is an adventure of a lifetime. So in this safari now, there are many opportunities on the way to Oranduke. Now you'll get to see the culture and customs of the indigenous people. You get to pass through the Yokorama forest. On our way back, we can get to stop at the Canopy Walkway, and you can get to see the beautiful mountains of Guyana.
Meanwhile, GTA's acting director Kamrul Bakish said this year's safari will be action-packed.
That I'm extremely pleased about this resumption. It has been a challenging time, and as you know, events are the heartbeat of any destination, and with that, I think that the events such as the safari organized by Rainforest Tours and Frank and all others really give us a very unique perspective of a destination. And this safari has all facets of that. It has become a staple during the Easter festivities. You'll be able to explore, as Frank has said, the mountainous regions of Guyana, traversing the hilltops, or whether that is, exploring the canopy of the rainforests, savannas, and rugged terrain. So there's a lot in store. It's a very scenic trip. And we're really happy that this safari is back on board.
Founder of the Pakaraima Mountain Safari, Hari Prasad Nakta, was also present at the launch, where he reminded that the event started back in 2003 and has grown tremendously over the years. He described the event as recreational and educational, creating networking that will allow persons to use it as an adventurous experience. To participate in this year's safari, participants must have a 4x4 vehicle. It will be inspected by a team to ensure it is safe for travel. A registration fee is then paid. Each vehicle will also have to make donations to the indigenous communities to be a part of the trip. Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
Canadian company Omi Gold Mines Corporation has announced the acceleration of exploration in its Weenot pit in Region 7, where a second drill has been added and has already started working. Here are the details.
In a statement, Omi's Chief Executive Officer, CEO Elaine Illingham, explained that a second drill has started drilling at the pit since last week. This drill is intended to supplement the work being done by the first one on nearby targets. Illingham said, and I quote, "This will allow us to accelerate our work to expand the Weenot resource, while the first drill can continue to explore the additional nearby targets identified by our exploration team." Also announced were the appointments of Sandra Evans as Omi's interim Chief Financial Officer and Igor Zonenshine as Corporate Secretary. Evans, it was explained, is a certified general accountant with 30 years of experience in the energy, mining, and manufacturing industries. Zonenshine, meanwhile, is Manager of Governance and Regulatory Affairs with Grove Corporate Services. In January 2022, Omi Gold Mines had announced the discovery of significant gold at its Region 7 holdings. The next month, Omi had announced that it would continue drilling since it believed that even more deposits of gold are available at the Weenot deposit. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Guyana on Tuesday accepted a new ambassador from the Republic of Suriname when Her Excellency Liesel Blankendal presented her letters of credence to President Dr. Irfan Ali at the Office of the President. During the simple accreditation ceremony, the Guyanese head of state spoke of the importance of the Guyana-Suriname partnership in crafting a regional energy policy. Gerald Bryan tells us more.
Guyana and Suriname established bilateral relations in 1975 and have many bilateral ties, including shared infrastructure projects. In his address while accepting the letters of credence, President Dr. Irfaan Ali hailed this partnership and also pledged his support to the new Surinamese ambassador in the furtherance of her duties.
Excellency, your appointment has come at a pivotal and exciting phase in the relations between our two states. Having served in Georgetown, you have the distinct advantage of better appreciating Guyana's national development agenda and our country's shared interests. I'm confident that your appointment will provide greater impetus to the relations between Guyana and Suriname, and will serve to further advance the cooperation agenda that President Santokhi and I have agreed upon, particularly in the areas of agriculture, energy, the environment, forestry, and infrastructure integration.
He also spoke of the strength of Guyana and Suriname's bilateral ties, which he said has improved since both himself and Suriname's President Chancellor Santokhi took office. President Ali noted that both countries have a key role to play in crafting the Caribbean community's CARICOM energy policy.
Our bilateral cooperation augurs well for advancing regional integration. Guyana and Suriname have a key role to play in crafting a CARICOM energy policy, including in respect to renewable energy. We must also continue our cooperation on regional food security. Guyana remains fully committed to supporting His Excellency President Santokhi in his role as lead head for industrial policy and in guiding the regional effort on this front.
Meanwhile, Ambassador Lizelle Blankendal in her statement spoke of the shared interest between the two countries, including the Quarantine Bridge.
Within our desired close cooperation, we expect the construction of the bridge over the Quarantine River to have a spin-off effect for both our countries, boosting, among others, the tourism sector. Furthermore, the Guyana-Suriname Private Sector Business Council was recently established within the aim to strengthen economic ties and initiatives regarding our shared interests. Excellency, it is my great honor and pleasure for me to serve as Ambassador of Suriname to your beautiful country. I pledge that I will spare no effort in further strengthening the existing friendship and partnership to advance our common goals of peace and prosperity.
Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
In a historic development, Guyana will, in 2024, host the 38th session of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization's Regional Conference for Latin America and the Caribbean. Find out more in this report.
This will be the first time that the high-level Food and Agriculture Organization's Regional Conference for Latin America and the Caribbean will be hosted in Guyana. The 37th session was held in Ecuador from March 28 to the 1st of April and saw 33 countries participating in discussions geared at addressing challenges to global food security. Guyana's Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa hailed the biennial conference as a huge success, noting that many objectives were set.
In this conference, we came with many ideas to address the soaring food prices, the food crisis that is now taking the world by storm because of the pandemic, and now with the war, with inputs for agriculture. We are now looking to work as a group in Latin America and the Caribbean so that we can try to buffer the problems that exist within this continent and this region. Those objectives are to reduce the reduce the crisis in the food industry, to ensure that we have proper policy for climate change, use our voice to ensure that we involve and we reduce the effect of climate change, greenhouse gases, and as greenhouse gases are, and as a country in the small island developing state, this will be very, very important for us to ensure that the world out there hear our voice in the Caribbean and Guyana.
Guyana will be hosting the upcoming conference at a time when the country has been playing the leading role in agriculture and food security matters in the Caribbean community.
And Guyana is leading the agri-food system in the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, His Excellency, the President of Guyana, is the lead on agriculture in the Caribbean. And we have vast land space. We have large amount of fresh water, which are the two most important components to improve agriculture output. And as a country that is leading the agriculture, agri-food system in the Caribbean, we are working with CARICOM to reduce the food import bill by 25% in the next 3 years, And we are hoping to use the FAO conference, the 38th conference in Guyana, as a catalyst to move this process forward.
Mustafa said a key point coming out of this conference would be how to achieve CARICOM's goal of reducing the food import bill by 25% by 2025.
The entire Caribbean is looking towards Guyana for leadership in agriculture and in other sectors, because not only as Guyana now is developing its oil and gas industry, we see agriculture as a very important sector, which will ensure that we use resources from other sectors to develop this sector, because the agriculture sector is the backbone of Guyana's economy, the Caribbean economy. And as a net importer of food in the Caribbean, Guyana has to play an important role if we have to reduce the food import bill.
Mustafa also emphasized that Guyana plays a significant role in these discussions, being the only country that is a part of both the Caribbean and South America.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Thursday, April 7th at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Pepys River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Thursday, April 7th at 7 hours 5 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Tyndall looking for redemption in Carif to long jump, and Cummins 14 ball 50 powers KKR home. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by Macorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Complete control of power is in your hands with the ultimate U.S. brand Generac generators from Sylvie's Variety Store. Get the supply and reliability you need every time. From 1,800 to 8,000 watts of power for residential and commercial use. Recoil and electric start with gasoline engines. Generac generators from the authorized dealers Sylvie's Variety Store.
Your child needs nutrients every day. Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder.
This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Mental development depends on various factors such as stimulation and adequate nutrition. Commercial cow's milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.